All right, we live, baby. Let's get it cracking. So, welcome. Back again, once again, time and time again, my friends. And we are here. Another Forex breakdown live stream. So, we're just going over a few pairs, unless otherwise mentioned in the chat. We will probably hit those, whatever anybody calls out, give you a little brief breakdown on what I see coming up. Yerp, what up, boy? What up, J Staff, my dude? You already know how we get into it. Some pairs, if you want to, put them in the chat. We'll go over them at the end, but right now we'll just keep it brief and short. Make sure you are subscribed so you get the post notifications turned on. That way you get notified anytime I do go live. I will be going live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come kick it, chill. We'll have a nice little brief live stream session. Yeah, so let's get right into it. You know what we do over here. We'll start out on XAU USD from the monthly time frame, and on the monthly, we spoke about this pair in the past. Previous structure resistance right over in here, broke into the upside, came back, retested it. Support. We broke and closed below the area, came back, retested it as previous structure support, now turned resistance, started making a move to the downside. So we could see more continuation to the downside now that we have broken below this area, retested it, and stayed below this area. But we do have a level in the market, and this is going to be new, pointing out right in this area right in here that we could see the market tap into and then maybe continue to the upside. But as it is right now on the monthly, simply we're just extremely bearish. If we drop down to the weekly, you can see we are starting to create some moves to the upside. Once again, we spoke about this candle in the last live stream. The previous candle, we want to see the next one at least come try to fill in the wick. That's what has happened here. We started to make a move to the upside, but we've thus been rejected right at previous structure support. So right in this area was some support. We came back, retested it as resistance, and we are getting rejected from that area. So on the weekly, we are also bearish because we are below this structure. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, I jumped to the wrong pair. On the weekly of XAU USD, we came back and retested this level right in here, which we pointed out multiple times. Makeshift left shoulder was a level in the market found. We had some structure support right on this area. We found a level in the market, broke below it, came back, false breakout, immediately broke back into the area. So from there, your analysis should tell you that this is previous structure that if tested should act accordingly. So previous structure yet to be retested can expect to be respected, and this is exactly what we had. If we drop down on the daily time frame, you can see it in a little more detail, is that we had this area all right in here, which is what we were speaking about. We found a level in the market here, broke below it, came back, broke above it, and then immediately broke back into the area, and then we started to create some daily structure. But since then, we've came back, retested this area right here, and from then we started to make moves to the downside. And so the federal interest decision rate decision came out, and it was, I think, like 4%, positive 4%, or 4.4%. Let me see. No, 4%. An actual 4% came out. So you know, the dollar is looking up. Let's see what we got right here on the daily. You can see this is the last time we spoke about it. We want to see the market break below this level and use it as some previous structure support, which it was support here, resistance here, support here, support here. Broken down below it, we want to see the market come back into this area, possibly retest some of this right in here, which is exactly what we did, especially when news came out. We had that news candle spike, and since then price has rejected all of this area and started to make the move to the downside, almost forming a nice and easy impulse retracement, impulse pattern, which, if you remember what we spoke about on the last live stream on Monday, we wanted to see the market go ahead and break down below some of these levels to see the continuation to the downside. So this is exactly what we're getting. We could possibly see further continuation to the downside to come retest some of these lows right around in this area. So we could see further bearishness on XAU USD. We can jump down to XAG USD from the monthly time frame. Just spoke about it. We had a previous level of structure support in here that would need to be broken to the upside in order to be bullish once again because we are so bearish on this market. But we've been rejecting this previous structure support, now turned resistance multiple times. So once, twice, and another third time, thrice, just to make it nice. We could see further continuation to the downside once again, and we spoke about XAG USD having almost the same pattern on the weekly as we did on XAU USD, where we just wanted to see this level in the market. We had a false breakout to the upside, immediately break back into the zone. You just want to see this level of previous structure resistance now be used as current structure resistance once again until broken to the upside, and that is what we got, putting us in a nice and easy move to the downside, come back for the retracement, possible another continuation to the downside on the weekly. If we drop down to the daily to get a little more detail, you can see that we did have a quite strong sell-off. So we had a big move to the downside after we had an impulse to the upside, creating an M formation, M pattern, and we've since then come back, retest the neckline as this pattern completes 80 to 90% of the time. So with this move to the downside, we started to consolidate or really not trade too much higher. We're having a slow retracement, so it's making it harder for the market to come to the upside than it was to move to the downside. And then as well, a little more detail, we have this left shoulder here, we have this head, and the market came right into this level once again, retesting the left shoulder, not breaking above it. So from there, we could possibly see more continuation to the downside just to go ahead and complete simple market structure. So if we're creating lower lows and lower highs, you expect the market to go ahead and finish completing that until shown otherwise. So we could see more bearishness on XAG USD as well. XBT Platinum, if we jump to the monthly time frame, now this one was a bit different than the last two commodities on it. If we look at it on the monthly time frame, we can see that we are above some monthly structure. So we had previous monthly structure right in here that was support, and then it was acting as resistance as well right in here, but we since then have broken and closed above that level, coming to retest some of these highs up in here. So we have a nice and easy W formation on the monthly currently forming, where we could possibly see the retracement come back down, and then we could see the move to the upside if the market wants to go ahead and continue. Now remember, these are commodities, so a lot of them will tend to trend the same. So if one is more than likely moving in one direction, more than likely the other ones will as well. And if we're expecting some bearishness on a lot of the commodities, XAU, XAG, XPT, USD, just simply from the weekly time frame, even though we are quite bullish on the monthly time frame, we can't go in one direction forever. There needs to be some sort of retracement in order to continue. So that retracement could come on the monthly. So it's not a full-on sell-off, but it could be a just a nice and easy retracement to come retest some of these levels before we see the explosion to the upside, if the market wants to do that. On the weekly, we are still above some weekly resistance. So we made a move up, came back down, found some resistance in that area. We broke it, did not close above it, but since then we did finally make our way up, come back down, retest, and then we finally closed above this previous structure resistance. So now, since we've closed above that, we should have the previous structure resistance act as support in order to see the continuation. But we can't just blindly jump into this trade. If we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we are kind of setting up for a nice and easy TMCP1 if you are in the program to the upside. But since we are coming into this area and we've been rejected from some of these highs, this setup is not looking probable, since we came into these highs once again and got rejected very aggressively and is selling off. So this could be the start to break down of XBT USD, just from the looks of gold and silver as well. They're looking to make moves to the downside. This could be the start of some daily structure created to go ahead and retest some of these lows down in here. We could see the movement to the downside, but first off, we will need to see this level in the market broken from a daily perspective before we can go ahead and hop in on these bearish trends. If we drop down to US oil from the monthly time frame, on the monthly we spoke about it as well. We've had previous structure resistance right in here that you want to see used as support on this side once it is retested. Just simple market structure, keeping it short and simple, nothing too complicated. On the weekly, this pair has been quite interesting. We had the breakdown in here, found a level in the market right around this area, and then we broke below it, came back into the area immediately, came back to retest the left shoulder without breaking below and closing below the left shoulder, and from there it sets us up nicely for nice and easy the most common pattern in the market, TMCP. A nice and easy impulse to the upside, retest previous structure broken as the opposite, and then continue the trend to go ahead and either make a higher high or a lower low. So we could see that on US oil as it is setting up from a weekly perspective. But if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we are having troubles breaking above this level in the market right here. So if we did get a nice and easy break and close above, possible continuation to the upside could happen, could be very likely. So that's what I'll be looking for on US oil from a daily time frame perspective. If I get the break above this level and it gives me all the correct entries to go ahead and see the market make a move to the upside, I will be looking out for that. Now we can go over to the Forex market and we can drop down to Euro USD from the monthly time frame. And last time I spoke about this, it was still October, and I told you that we were starting the monthly retracement. So this move isn't going to last forever. It's not a reversal, but the monthly retracement needs to happen. We need to see some exhaustion, some pullback, some correction in order for the market to continue to the downside. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a full-blown reversal, come back and retest some of these levels up in here, but simply put, we've had previous structure support right in this level right here that is keeping the market from a monthly time frame bearish. So until broken above this level, you can still look for sales. Sales are still highly probable. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we did come back for some sort of retracement right around previous structure support that should act as resistance. We did get that, actually spoke about it a few times. We got a perfect break below the structure, come back, retest previous structure to a T, but we failed to make a lower low, and from there started to make a move to the upside, which sets us up for a nice and easy move to the downside, move up, come back, retest the neckline. That could be the momentum it needs to continue to the downside, but as it is right now, we are starting to create a very, very aggressive bearish move on the weekly. That's already completed the W formation, which does complete 80 to 90% of the time. And if we look at the daily time frame of Euro USD, last time we spoke about it was this level of structure in the market. It did get retested today, but it did not close above that level. So I'm sure a lot of people was faked out once the market started to break above this. They hopped in for buys, possibly. That's why we wait for the candles to close. What up, Matt? What up? What up? Trying to stay consistent, bro. Trying to. But last time we spoke about it, we want to see the market break above this level, which is a structured candle. Until broken above, we can't be looking for buys, which is exactly what happened. We did not get the break above. We got the retest, and the market has rejected to the downside very aggressively. We are starting to make somewhat of an impulse to the downside, to where if this impulse ends, we could possibly see something like this, which would set us up perfectly for, you know, one of my favorite patterns. We have a level in the market that held here, then we broke above it, immediately came back into the area. If this goes on to continue, then we could possibly use the left shoulder as possible resistance to go ahead and see the market continue to the downside if it wants to do that. So that's what I see from the daily time frame. Since we've already started creating this much bearishness to the downside, I could possibly see more bearishness, since we are from a monthly time frame overall bearish. We've just been creating lower lows and lower highs for quite some time now, and with the news coming out, we could definitely see that to continue. GBP USD, a lot of these pairs will be correlated since they are the majors. They have the USD in them, so a lot of them will be showing some of the same directions. But on the monthly time frame, we spoke about it once again. We started the retracement by printing a bullish monthly candle, but that's just the retracement on the monthly. Doesn't mean a full-blown reversal. We had previous structure right in here, previous structure support that would make sense to be retested and used as resistance, but with the news coming out, I don't think the market had a chance to go ahead and make that tap into it. But if we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we are starting to create, or did start to create, move to the downside, move back up, move back down, break above all the structure, come back, retest the neckline. 80 to 90% completion rate on these patterns. This could be the momentum needed to go ahead and see the market continue to the downside once again. So even on this pair, if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we are struggling. We are struggling to make higher highs. So we had a level in the market. We found some support, found resistance, started to make a move, closed below it, came back, retested the neckline of the M pattern that completes 80 to 90% of the time on all time frames. We completed it to the T. So add that to the tally as well, and then we've since then made a move to the downside, breaking below some structure. Once this impulse ends, which probability standpoint, just from a probability standpoint, we had a level in the market here. We broke up, consolidated, come back down, retest that level. We could see further continuation on this pair if that's what the market wants to do. So that's what I'll be looking for this impulse to go ahead and finish, come back for the retracement, and then there will be where I look to make my trades for the move to the downside on GBP USD. Shoot, man, soak it up. It's free. I'm giving it out for free. You know what I'm saying? Soak up all the knowledge. But we can drop down to AUD USD from a monthly time frame, and on the monthly you can see that we did have a little bit of correction. Once we came down into this area, we started to reject kind of aggressively, but we still printed a bearish candle on the monthly, so we could see further continuation until shown otherwise. Even then, it would be a monthly retracement because we are so below some of the monthly structure support that if retested should act as resistance. So until the market from a monthly time frame perspective breaks and closes above this level, it is bearish on the monthly. And if we do drop down to the weekly time frame, we can see that we had a nice move to the downside, breaking below all this structure, impulsing, coming back for a retracement. Ideal for the retracement to come back and retest the structure, but it doesn't have to. And from there, I could possibly see further continuations to the downside to go ahead and tap into this level, which we identified before in past live streams on the monthly as a very, very, very high probability area the market wants to go to. So this level in the market is acting as a magnet towards the price because this is the support. We want to go ahead and from a big banks and institution perspective, tap into this level to see what orders are in here and what all they could do. It's just a lot of money sitting right here on previous structure support that should act as support once again. From there, we could see a possible move to the upside. So if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we are starting to break below some daily structure, which could put us back into a bearish daily market structure. So remember, we are multi-time frame analysis, and each time frame has its own specifics and special characters that we look for. So we had a nice and easy move to the downside, came in, retested this area, started to consolidate, started to break out, retested it one more time, found a level in the market, came back, broke above that level, and you want to see this level be used as previous structure resistance, now turn support, in order to see the market move to the upside. Now today, with the news coming out, we did have a spike above this level, which once again, if you want to know the rules to the strategies that we use, go ahead and click the link in the description. Everything's right there, but we wait for the candles to close before we actually look to enter on trades. And so since this candle did not close back above this level and actually reject it and started to make a move to the downside, then we can't be looking for the long anymore. And from there, we'll just be waiting, which more than likely the market likes to set up. Once again, my favorite pattern, again, once these pairs are correlated, so once one makes a move, more than likely they're all going to be showing some sort of the same move. So once this impulse completes, possible areas for it to come back for a retest or a correction or a pullback is right in previous structure resistance, broken to the downside. That should act as resistance one more time if it does get retested, in order to see the market go ahead and test some of these lows down in here, previous structure monthly support that should act as support one more time. So further continuation on AUD USD to the downside could be possible. Now if we jump down to USD CAD from the monthly time frame, you can see on the monthly we are quite bullish. We've broken above all this structure with a very, very strong momentum candle to the upside on USD CAD. We started the retracement, which is exactly what you need in order to see further continuation. Doesn't need or doesn't have to come all the way back to retest structure. It's just a high probability area, but you know, nothing in the market is 100% exact all the time. There is some randomness to it. And if we drop down to the weekly of USD CAD, we previously identified these levels in the market. We have weekly structure a support that should act as resistance, which broke into the downside. Once it was broken to the downside, retested as resistance, and then continued to the downside, but did not continue to make lower lows. We got rejected from the support because we are so bullish on the monthly time frame. So if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that wanted to see the market break below this area and continue to the downside. Previously on the last live stream, we wanted to see the market from this area start to make a move to the downside just to continue the market structure of creating lower lows and lower highs. Once again, we wait for the candles to close over here so we don't get caught in messy noise like this happening, especially like today, where the market did make this move to the downside, and then after the news kind of settled, has reversed a little bit in terms of just the daily structure. So we started to make moves to the downside. Now we are quite bullish, which is expected to see the continuation to the upside from a monthly perspective, since we are so bullish. So keep that in mind when you're going through your analysis, that the multi-time frame analysis does have its place, and it does help you with the timing. So we had previous structure right around in here, structure support, that from there has been rejected a few times. So we had a rejection once, we had a rejection twice, we came into this level and we are rejecting it a third time, making a move to the upside. Just purely from a daily time frame perspective, once we get the break above this level, break and close above this level, previous structure resistance, that should act as resistance once again until broken through. Once it is broken through, it should act as support once retested. So if we can get the break above this level, on the retest of this level, could see possible continuations to the upside, to go ahead and see the market make higher highs for the overall monthly direction that the market is headed. Let's drop down to NZD USD from the monthly time frame. On the monthly time frame, we did come into this level of previous structure support on the monthly, and from there we made a big move to the upside, came back, retested this level once again on the monthly, and from there we're starting the retracement to the upside. Now keep that in mind, this is a monthly retracement, so until we start to break some monthly structure to the upside, you can't really be looking for buys from a monthly perspective. If we are on the weekly, you can see that we did break and create some structure, and by the market moving down, finding a level of resistance, kind of breaking and closing below, but we immediately broke back into the area. From here, kind of paused right around this area, made a move to the downside to reject previous structure, what was resistance that should now act as support, and we are starting to make moves to the upside, climbing to retest more weekly structure. So we identified this level previously, the market has came into that level, tapped it almost to the T, and then we have rejected very aggressively from that level since then. If we drop down to the daily time frame, on the daily, you can see that we did have a level in the market right in here that was broken to the upside, which the most common pattern in the market is you find a level of resistance, you break it to the upside, come back, retest that level as the opposite. So it was resistance over here. Now that we retest it right here, it should act as support, and from there you just want to see a higher high created, which is the most common pattern in the market, exactly what the market did to go ahead and complete the impulse. Not only just this once, but this market did this a few times. So we had a break above structure here, came back, retested the previous structure resistance as support, and continued to make a higher high. Once again, broke above some structure, came back to retest the previous structure resistance as support, created a higher high. Once again, came back to retest the previous structure resistance, and we created a higher high. Now, since we've been so bearish on NZD USD from a monthly time frame perspective, after we got the bounce out of the monthly structure, it's only right to see some sort of exhaustion correction, but from there we should see the market continue the trend of lower lows and lower highs. So what I'm expecting for is either for this retracement to go ahead and come down and break below some structure. So I want to see it come back, retest, possibly break down and retest once again, giving me one of my favorite patterns. We could call this a left shoulder. All it signifies is there was a level in the market broken to the downside. You want to see it come retest that level, not breaking above the left shoulder, and then put you in a great position to see the trend continuation as well. From a daily time frame, if we do get the move to the downside, we'll have a nice and easy M pattern that should complete at the neckline and put us in a better position to time the next move to the downside for the impulse. So more continuation on NZD USD is expected. If we look at USD CHF from the monthly time frame, I'll probably bore you, but this is my baby. Just from the monthly time frame perspective, it explains a TMCP. TMCP stands for the most common pattern, which is a break above structure, come back to retest the previous structure broken as the opposite. So it was resistance over in here. We came back, retested it as support, and we created a higher high out of this market. That is the most common pattern in the market. It happens on all time frames, plenty of times a day. If we drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see we identified this level in past live streams as previous structure or resistance. I think it's a better and more detail if we drop down to the daily time frame. But essentially, we broke above some structure, came back, retested previous structure resistance with this wick right here. Tested previous structure resistance, acting as support, and from there we could see the possible continuation to the upside, just for the market to complete the most common pattern in the market. If we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we had a level of resistance right in here that we said if broken to the upside, we want to see it used as support for the continuation to the upside, and that's exactly what we've gotten today with the news coming out. So the market spiked down into this area and since then has rejected very aggressively, turning a bearish candle into a bullish daily candle. If the market go ahead and closes like it is right now, we could possibly see more continuation to the upside throughout the week. USD JPY monthly time frame, extremely bullish. We've created and broken structure to the upside multiple times on monthly candles. So we are quite amongst the highs. On the weekly, you can see we started the retracement and we are still right around some support right in this area that we want to see broken to the upside in order to see the continuation or look for possible trades and setups for the continuation to the upside first. But we did have a break above some structure, found some resistance in here, finally broke above it, came back, retested previous structure resistance as support, and since the news came out today, we are starting to get a bullish weekly candle, which could put us in a situation where we see the market continue to the upside. Now, these pairs are correlated, so they're going to be showing some of the same things, but in this instance, on the daily time frame, we have some previous structure resistance that you would like to see broken above first before you start to look for buy opportunities. But if we look closely, we've had one of my favorite patterns once again, an inverse head and shoulders. Excuse me, just left the gym. We have a level in the market here that signifies the left shoulder. Since then, we broke down below it, came immediately back into the area. So we broke below it, then broke back above the resistance or would-be resistance that should have held the market because it was support over in here. And then from there, you want to see the market come retest this level, but not break and close below any of the left shoulder area. So if you look, if I clean it up just a little bit, you can see that we've had that. And that's exactly what we called out in the past live streams. If we got a break above this level in the market, you want to see it come back into this area, use it as support in order to see the continuation to the upside. Just simple market structure. The most common pattern in the market. We break a level, come back, retest that level, continue to the upside, in this instance as a bullish pattern. So I could see further continuation as long as this candle doesn't continue to start to drop or start to make moves to the downside. We could see the possible move to the upside on USD JPY for the rest of the week and a few days to come, possibly. It is quite bullish. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the majors. And you know, we slide down to BTC USD as well. And we want to look at this from the monthly time frame one more time. Same things, keeping it consistent. You don't want to start adding new things into your trading analysis, trading plan, trading setups, or anything. You want to stick to what works and continue to do that. And that way you can learn from what is working and what actually isn't working by doing things consistently. So just literally looking at the market, we have previous structure resistance here. We had the halving event. Then we have the explosion to the upside, and since then we've came back and retested previous structure resistance that should act as support, and we failed to break lower than the previous structure resistance that should act as support. From a monthly time frame perspective, if we drop down to the weekly, you can see we have not only one bottom, but we've hit this market once, twice, thrice, a fourth time, a fifth time, a sixth time, and we're starting to make moves to the upside. So this 18,000 level is holding quite aggressively. It's literally holding Bitcoin right above this level right here. There's nothing to say that this market can't break down below it, but we are in a very strong area in the market. If we do extend this just a hair, you can see we're tapping into previous structure. Over here we had previous structure right here as well. Resistance broken to the upside, came back, retested, exploded to the upside, and since then we've came back into this area, or right around here, getting rejected multiple times. So this is a strong area for the market to be in. Not saying that the market's going to explode from this level and go ahead and retest the all-time highs, but in 2024 we should have the next halving event that we could see the market kind of play around in this area for a while until 2024. Then from there we see the explosion to the upside, and that is just my prediction. I am not anyone's financial advisor, so take it and do with that with what you will, but that is my expectations for Bitcoin. It should be a cold winter. We shouldn't see too much movement on this market in terms of just high prices being seen again. 40k, 50k, 60k. My prediction is not until 2024 when the next halving event happens. So we spoke about this level in the market here. We said that Bitcoin has failed to break amongst the highs, and then we also have structure support right in this area as well. That is, the market is kind of trapped in between. Now we are starting to make moves to the downside very aggressively, but the way that the pattern is set up is we are put in a position that we spoke about this level, this area right in here last time. If the market comes in here and gives us the opportunity to look for our setup, it could be a good opportunity to see the market come retest some of these levels right over in here. But if we look at it, you can see the pattern that we created is a move up, break above structure, come back, failed to break higher. You know that a double top in this instance, you expect the market to go ahead and break down below the neckline and then come back, retest the neckline, which puts you in a good position to continue the trend to the downside. But that retest of the neckline may be the momentum the market needs to go ahead and retest some of these other highs just for a brief moment. So we're starting to break out on the weekly, daily. We've tapped into this area on the monthly, so we expect to bounce on the weekly. We're breaking above some structure, just came back to retest it, and on the daily we are starting the retracement, to where if we do get the opportunity to look for the buy to go ahead and complete the pattern, that could be a possible move. So nothing really too exciting on Bitcoin as it is right now. We still need to wait for the retracements and for the news of the day just to settle. This is the middle of the week. You expect big moves Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then from there you could probably find some good opportunities Thursday, Friday, possibly going into the next week of next week. But we'll be back on Friday here, man. That's pretty much wraps up the live stream. Once again, make sure you are subscribed with the post notifications turned on. That way you get updated and notified anytime I do anything YouTube related. So if I post a video, you'll get notified. If I go live, you'll get notified. If I do any polls or anything, you'll get notified as well. So just really make sure you're subscribed. I do appreciate everyone that has subscribed. I do appreciate you if you stuck through this live stream for today, or if you watched any of the other ones. So if you made it through this one, come back for some more on Friday, man. It'd be some of the same things. If y'all got any questions, go ahead, ask them now. If not, I'm going to slide up out of here. Keep it short and sweet on this Wednesday. I appreciate you, J Staff. I appreciate you, Matt E. Thank y'all for tapping in. Drop your boy a thumbs up. And that's pretty much it, man. I don't see too much going on. I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you all have had and continue to have not only a profitable day, but a profitable week on and off the charts. And I'm going to holler at y'all next time.